Nikon's big announcement isn't the announcement that we were expecting, but that isn't a complete surprise. Blackmagic released DiVinci Resolve 17, and Sony's about to release the 50mm f1.2. This and more after the intro. Hi, I'm Simon. Thanks for tuning into The Ordinary Filmmaker. Subscribe to get notification of new videos like this one so you don't miss any news, rumors, gear reviews, or tutorials. And to make things a little bit more exciting, I'm giving away a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. Details, as always, are in the description down below, or you can watch this video here. But please look at the terms and conditions, as there are some age and location restrictions. And now, for the news. Blackmagic Design released DiVinci Resolve 17 with some 300 new features and capabilities. And if you've already been running this software, then this shouldn't come as a surprise, as DiVinci Resolve has been in the public beta for, a couple of months now, at least since November. Now, if you're looking for a video editor, consider Resolve as a good place to start, as it sells for $299, same as Final Cut. But, and this is a big but here, a less functional version can be had for free. And that free version is more than powerful enough for the ordinary filmmaker. And when I say free, I'm not talking about a mere 30-day trial, but free for as long as you want to use the product. And better still, it's available on Windows, Linux, and Macintosh. Now let's take a quick overview at the more important enhancements. DiVinci Resolve 17 has improved HDR color correction with customizable wheels and tonal zones, improved color management with tone mapping, and color space aware tools. It also supports wide gamut color space for higher quality image processing. Now, while full-featured now, DiVinci Resolve started as a color grading tool, and a very good one at that. Now, had DiVinci Resolve been a full-featured video editor back in 2013, when I was looking for a video editor, I might very well be running DiVinci Resolve today, instead of Final Cut. Audio capabilities have been much improved. DiVinci Resolve now supports audio projects with thousands of tracks in a single system. It has a timeline-based clip syncing to create multicam and compound clips, along with alpha support for keying and compositing. You can also import projects from the ATEM Mini Pro, ISO. And what happens if you don't have enough power to edit 6K out of camera? No problem. DaVinci can work with proxy media workflows up to 1/16 resolution in H.264, H.265, ProRes, or AVID's DNxHR. Now, if you're new to video editing, these capabilities might read like some sort of complex end-user license agreement that a lawyer crafted out. But DaVinci Resolve is a powerful video editing system. It's as capable as Avid, Premiere Pro, or Final Cut. Now, it might take you a few weeks to fully get the basics down packed, but you're going to be thankful for it later. And with that free version, what have you got to lose? The big news out of Nikon CP Plus announcement today is the complete and utter lack of any announcement. But is this surprising? Both Canon and Panasonic didn't make any announcements either. Nikon did use CP Plus as an opportunity to update their customers on their lens plans. Nikon plans to release a staggering 27 lenses, 2 teleconverters by 2022. That's a lot. And it's all for the the mirrorless Z mount. Now, what's included, you ask? Nikon's planning on releasing the 85mm S, the 400mm S, 600mm S, and the 28 to 40 primes, as well as a 50mm macro and a bunch of zooms, 24 to 105, 100 to 400, 200 to 600, and DX 18 to 140. Actually, that's not bad. I only screwed up one of those. You know, I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. I've had so many meetings today. I'm exhausted. Maybe I'm just going on fumes at this point. But it's Friday. Now, we have had a few announcements all week, and only a few. But there's one clear message coming from everyone except Sony. They just keep putting stuff out. We've got lots of products in the pipeline. We'll be making lots of announcements in the year. So hang tight. They're coming. They're coming in the second half. And now, let's go behind the scenes. In this episode of Behind the Scenes, I want to talk to you about something new. And what do I mean by new? Well, let's take a look at this right here. You know what this is, right? It's my Canon R5 and the 50mm 1.2. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, that's what I normally shoot this video with. Not today. No, I'm not using the EOS R. Do you know what I'm shooting with? Have you noticed a difference so far? You probably should. So here's what I'm doing. I'm shooting with the, I was going to say Canon. I'm shooting with the Sony a7S III. Yes, I've got the a7S III for 2 weeks. I have to return it March the 10th. So I'm really excited. I want to say a very special thanks to Sony Canada for recognizing that my channel's growth and my potential to loan me camera gear with only 20,000 subscribers. So thank you very much, Sony Canada, for loaning me this camera for this time. Now, this isn't meant to be a review of the a7S III, and it would be unfair to do that for Sony because, well, I just got it an hour before I started recording this video. Let me make sure yeah, that's secure. I don't want to drop my R5, do I? That would be silly. So I only had an hour to set it up, and at this point, I feel like I'm driving a car for the very first time. And when you have a car, when you get your first car, you don't have spares, you don't have extra glasses, sunglasses, you don't have extra tires. And it's the same with the Sony a7S III. I don't have extra batteries, although what I give Sony great credit for is the ability to charge it over USB. So I was able to hook up one of those, spare batteries packs that I have, plug it in, and I'm good to go. So that's really awesome that you can charge, or you can supply it with power over USB, which is really, really great. So that solved my battery problem. But ND filters, thankfully I don't need them here, but the lenses I have for Canon it's a different diameter, so I'm sort of out of luck. Now I'm lucky because I do have some HEDA filters that are magnetic, and believe it or not, I can put them right up against the Sony 28-70 f2.8. And it looks like it'll work. Now, if I'm running around a lot, they'll probably come off, but that looks like I've got shooting coverage. So next week's AMA, I plan to use the Sony a7S III. But the other problem that I have, not a problem with Sony, memory cards. I've got a ton of memory cards, a whole bunch of V30 memory cards, some slow ones, some fast ones, but they're V30 memory cards. Now, I am shooting this in 4K 30, but I'm not shooting it in the highest quality setting because they're V30 cards. So I've got a bit of an issue. Now, I do have CF Express cards, but they're Type B, not Type A. I'm going to see if I can get myself some V90 cards so I can record in the highest resolution. So sadly, that's one issue I might have. So I might have to wait a week before I start recording in that. And also, this is my first time setting it up. The settings that I use on my Canon, my R5, are, let me remember, 1/60th of a second shutter, f-stop of 2.8, and ISO of 320. Now, the Sony's completely different. When I had those settings in there, it really, really brought up, my background doesn't look black, it looked gray, so I dropped it down to ISO 200, brought it into the computer, and oddly enough, the presets I used for my R5 looked pretty good there, so that's what I'm going to run with. I will tweak things a little bit more as I shoot these videos, but my goal is, over the next couple of weeks, is to just use this Sony a7S III day in and day out to get familiar with it, so when I do give my review at the end of the 2 weeks, I'll have a lot of experience behind it. Now, I know what you're thinking. 2 weeks isn't enough to get to know a camera, and you're right. I've had the R5. I had it for 6 months before I actually did my review video on that, and I felt it was only the right thing to do. I haven't even checked to see if the a7S III has the new firmware update 2.0 with S-Cinetone, although I will check and make sure that's on there before I do my AMA video next week. I also have to learn a lot about Sony. It's got a new menu system, but it doesn't matter how good the new menu system is. I'm used to Canon. I've been in Canon for so long that I have to learn and I have to adapt. Now, special thanks to Peter Gregg for, we had a quick phone call and he gave me, oh yeah, make sure you have this stuff set up, and I did. So thank you, Peter, for helping me out there. But I'm really excited to have the a7S III. This was one of those cameras that I wanted to buy back in 2018, and Sony, why didn't you come out with it? Why did you wait till 2020? I would have bought it back then. And it's different. I had a consultation with Youssef earlier today. He bought one of the consultations I charge. It's $50 for an hour. You can talk to me about anything. I can advise you. It's up to you. It's in the description down below. And I was telling him about the camera, and he was kind of talking. He has Sony, he has Fuji, he has Canon. And we were talking about how, yeah, this camera doesn't feel quite right in my hands. And whenever you are used to a particular ecosystem and you go to a new one, it feels different. Like I can walk around town, not that I do, but I can walk around town quite easily. I put my 2 fingers in here like this, and I know it's all balanced. I'm used to it. I'm used to the menus. I'm used to all the buttons. I know where everything is. I can just, it's like a really good hockey player like Wayne Gretzky. You see him on the ice in his prime, boy, he can just dance around on the ice and make that puck and stick do whatever he wants it to. And I'm still new to the Sony a7S III. So that's why as I do these videos, if you notice, hey, Simon, you're not as sharp, you know, feel free to put down comments, but just understand that I'm getting used to this camera right now. It's not a reflection on how bad the a7S III is or necessarily how good the a7S III is. It's a limitation of my skills. And I was just recently asked about, and it's coming out tomorrow in my AMA video, what's more important, skill or gear? And if I had to choose, I'd say, well, skill first, but you know, when you work long enough, well, they both go hand in hand. So I've got the skill, I just have to spend a little bit of time and learn the gear and transfer some of those skills over. So I'm really excited to have this camera. Again, thanks to Sony Canada. I really do appreciate the support. This is just wonderful. It was perfect timing when it showed up too. It was out an hour before the end of my workday, so I was going to record at 4 o'clock, and it showed up at 3 o'clock. So I thought, great. First thing I did is unpacked it, charged up the battery, so I'd be ready to go at 4. Then I forgot I had a consultation at 5, so I did the consultation, and here it is at 6 o'clock. I'm recording this, and I'm just rambling like incoherently because, well, I'm excited. You know, I've been shooting with the Canon EOS R5 for a long time. I've now got the a7S III, and I think what this is teaching me. Let me ask you, do you speak more than one language? And if you don't speak more than one language, that's fine. What I've learned is as you start to learn another language, you learn to appreciate your own language better. You learn to appreciate the new language better, and that's what I'm doing here. Getting the a7S III has already taught me to appreciate the R5 and a lot of the capabilities it has. And it's also created a hunger for me to see how I can push the a7S III and how I can pull those same capabilities out of this camera. I can't wait to shoot at 50 millimeters, some stills, and see how well I can separate the subject from the background. I can't wait to shoot some high quality 4K. And I'm really curious to see what it's going to be like to edit in the computer with a V30 card. I'm not going to convert it to ProRes, and I'm just simply going to go ahead, bring it in there and edit right off, well, not edit right off the card, but import right off the card and edit it and see how it goes. And then a follow-up video, I'll let you know how that goes, because I've been using CF Express for a long time. And I think they're great, but on Sony, the Type A cards, they're very expensive. The largest one I found was 160 gigabytes, and it was $400 US. That's huge. My Angelbird 2 terabyte, while it's much faster, it's twice the price, but it gives you 8 times the capacity. So here's the thing, if you're using the Sony to shoot, I'm using 4K right now. It's using one of the long GOP IPB compressions. So I'm not going to fill up the card, so I shouldn't have any problems. But once I start to push those high modes, you're going to be looking at some pretty expensive storage options. So hopefully before long, with there being more cameras coming out with Type A, we'll see the prices of those Type A storage cards come down, because I looked at purchasing one of the Type A's and just thought, no, $400 for a card that I'm only going to have a camera for 2 weeks is pushing it a little bit. So I'm going to look at some V90 cards and see if I can't do some testing with there. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win 2 Angelbird 128GB AV Pro MK2 V90 UHS-2 SD cards, along with a dual UHS-2 card reader. Or you could also win a Ulanzi LED light package with accent lights, underwater lights, and various other flat panel lights to light your subject, or as a starter kit for setting up your own YouTube channel. I'll be awarding these 2 prize bundles to 2 lucky viewers once the channel reaches 30,000 subscribers. And then I'll offer up a different prize bundle every 10,000 or so subscribers until we reach 100,000. Now, once I reach that staggering 100,000 mark, I'll be awarding a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera. And on that bombshell, and on the bombshell, I've got the a7S III. Thanks so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.